And a very good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Sandy Elson, and on behalf of the travel professional community and homebasedtravelagent.com, I want to welcome all of you and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us today. Our host is Scenic Cruises, and our speaker is Randy Goodrich. Randy is a trainer for both Scenic Cruises and Emerald Waterways and is the business development manager for agents in several states. As always, we really appreciate the support we get from Scenic and Emerald. Randy has a very exciting topic today. They're always exciting, but this one is particularly exciting. His topic is the Scenic Eclipse, the world's first luxury discovery yacht. Before we get started, please remember that you are all muted, but we welcome your questions. You can type in your questions whenever you want in the question area you see on the right-hand panel of your screen. At the end of Randy's presentation, we'll get to as many questions as we can. So with that, I'll turn the microphone over to Randy so he can get started. Welcome, Randy.
Thank you, Sandy. It's a pleasure to be here again, and I thank all the agents who are taking some time out of their busy schedule to learn about our new ship and a little bit more about Scenic. We'll go through, excuse me, fighting a little cold here, but we'll go through a couple things. One, I'll give you a little history for those of you not that familiar with Scenic, where we came from and where we are today and where we're headed. So it should be exciting. There's a couple videos we got added in here. Now with GoToMeeting, which we're using, the videos don't always come across, depends on your bandwidth. So I'm not going to worry about the sound so much. I think that's the issues. But watch the video, give you an idea, and these videos are online. I'll show you where those are. But there's some really new, innovative features in this new ship that you need to be aware of and let your most discerning clients know about as soon as possible. So let's go back in history a little bit. Scenic tours were started as Warrnambool. Sounds very Australian, which it is. In Australia, Glenn Moroney, who founded Scenic Tours in 1986 and is still the owner and runs the company and is the person who has all the foresight and determining the direction we're going and the type of ships, the type of services, and the all-inclusive features that Scenic is known for. He's still running the show, and his wife is the designer, so they've got a nice team going there. But he started right out of college doing some local tours, actually to help his dad fill up a hotel in the outback of Australia, and so he started busing people out. And that started to grow. A couple of years later, he changed the name to Australian Scenic Tours because he was expanding to more places within Australia to do tours. And in 2000, he started going global and is taking Australians and New Zealanders primarily to different places around the world. You all might recognize this as the Banff Hotel in Canada, one of the Fairmont hotels. Scenic is actually the largest provider of clientele to Fairmont hotels in the world. They're a featured partner of ours. And so not only in Canada, but other places with Fairmonts, we tend to use them a lot. I learned also that Scenic is one of the largest providers of clients to both Holland American and Princes for their Alaska and Canada products. So it's a very significant company. It's become one of the largest tour companies in the world. So we're servicing many, many sectors of the world with our tours and now with our river cruising. In 2008, after having leased a couple ships from some of our competitors and selling those out very quickly, Mr. Moroney decided that river cruises were here to stay and that he wanted to invest in that and he wanted to focus on the high-end luxury part of the business. So he started building ships. He was the first to build ships that had all balconies. You can see the balconies there with the railings and the chairs. He was also the first to include tips and gratuities, first to have multiple dining choices, first to have butler service. So he's been the first in many categories, coming up with very innovative ideas and designs, and really focused on the people, the clients that like all-inclusive, high-end type of services and products. So in 2008, he started building ships, and now today you can see the timeline at the bottom there. This year we added the Doral, Mekong, and Irrawaddy. Last year, the Bordeaux. Before that, the Seine. Then Russia, and then got into France. And in 2008, we started the Rhine-Main-Danube. Still, that's the primary number of itineraries for most river cruise companies, the Rhine and the Danube being the two most popular rivers for most. But it's expanded our business quite nicely. We'll have 17 river cruise ships this year cruising throughout Europe and Southeast Asia. A couple years ago, we started chartering the Ponant ship in Antarctica and had with a small ship cruise program and experiencing what it was like to cruise in the Arctic. And then 2 years ago, we decided that we needed a more price-sensitive brand. So we came up with Emerald Waterways, which now has 4 ships in the Rhine-Main-Danube area, and we charter on the Rhone and also charter in Southeast Asia. Although next year we'll be building a ship for the Rhone and a ship for the Douro. Emerald is known and got the award last year for the best value in river cruising. Price-wise, it's with the other deluxe river cruise lines, the 4 stars that you're familiar with. However, Emerald includes more like tips, gratuities, transfers, extra shore excursion, etc. Very new, very luxurious ships. So really a spectacular brand for your clients looking for a good value. And then this year we announced in January the Scenic Eclipse. So we're taking that knowledge that we've learned in the Antarctic and small ship cruising area, and we decided that it's time, and this is Mr. Maroney's pet project, you might say. This is his dream to have this type of ship. So I'm going to show the video now. You probably won't hear any sound, but the video itself will tell you. I'll talk through it a little bit in back and let you know what we're looking at. Here's the good part. So we call it a discovery yacht. And there's the helicopter. It's 2 of those. So showing that we have 2 absolutely independent engine rooms for safety features. Basically, there's a fire on board. So safety is one of the primary focuses. This is showing the larger stabilizers. These are the largest stabilizers on any yacht of this size. Make things a little smoother here. You can see that in the video. So we have the dynamic positioning that we don't have to have an anchor. The GPS will keep us where we want to be. That's a wastewater treatment center that's on board, so we won't have very little impact on the environment in some of these sensitive areas. These are our own zodiacs we're going to have on board. That's the submersible, 7-passenger submersible. Go down and see the whales and penguins and whatever else you want to look at. So you can see most of the expedition ships, you get to the shore and then the rest of it's hiking or whatever. But with the helicopter, you can get out and actually see the barks and penguins and things like that in a very comfortable style. So there is a 2-bedroom, 2,500 square foot owner's suite that's quite nice. There's 6 dining venues on board. We have some more slides on these dining choices. The pool area, the entire dining area. It's the spa. It's 5,000 square feet. So I find this a much larger ship. There's a heated pool with a retractable roof. Pilates studio. So I hope you were able to see that okay. I know that the sound wasn't too good, but you can find this video online at scenicusa.com or scenicusa, actually that's wrong, scenicusa.com/eclipse. And you'll see that this particular section of the website. And then if you just page down, you'll see the video so you can hear the whole thing as well. There's also a couple other videos on the stabilizers and on our special propeller system, electric motors, which make things a lot more comfortable, etc. Kind of important for you to know when you're talking to your clients that really your discerning clients that want to discover these wonderful places in the world, but not have a huge effort at doing so, and travel in style and come back to their nice big 5,000 square foot spa and have a good time. So these are the videos. This is where you'll locate them on the website. Down at the bottom, there's the propeller system. Very unique. I don't think we'll go into that video because there's a lot of technical talk in there, which you're not going to be able to hear. But the important part on those propellers is that the electric engines are actually part of that, so there is no drive shaft going through the bottom of the ship, which quite often creates vibration, noise, etc. It's all incorporated in this area. They can also turn those motors around and chop their way out of an ice wall or anything else. So you have additional safety features that are included. Everything is state-of-the-art, in fact, ahead of state-of-the-art. We have done a lot of research and found out what they're looking at as far as future restrictions and regulations when it comes into the Arctic areas and in any other sensitive areas, and we're building to those standards. So state-of-the-art. So there's no compromise either. It's all about comfort and it's all about safety for your client. Giving it a little bit of an idea, this is in meters. Some of the other ships that are out there that are termed more in the expedition category, give you an idea of our size. Inside, this is the main lounge and bar area. Beautiful. This is the main theater, and this has multiple different types of setups. And in the center stage there in the middle of all the seats, that actually is on an elevator, so that can be raised and lowered. That would be probably where the speakers, when we bring in Antarctica, we'll have several speakers talking about, the whole area, and they'll be able to sit in the middle there. The concert type stuff, the music will be in the back. A multifaceted area. French dining restaurant, also an Italian/steak restaurant, and Asian as well. So there's 6 different dining choices on board. This is the spa area, the plunge pools outside. Could be a little nippy in Antarctica or the Arctic. This is the pool area with another dining area inside for casual dining. This is only 228 passenger ship, so it's not very big. It's really a mega yacht, and I can't believe they've got so many different choices for dining and the huge spa and everything else. So this is our initial schedule where the ship is being built in Croatia. We'll start our first voyage will be August 31st, 2018. So we're a little less than 2.5 years away from our first sailing, but the ship is already reaching 25% sold out. So we have past passengers from the last 30 years who want to be the first to jump on board. So it is selling quickly right now, especially the most popular itineraries. So we'll start in the Med, and then they'll cross over to Miami. There's several itineraries that include Cuba that they're going to run out of Miami, and then they're going to go down to the Panama Canal, down the western side of South America, and then they'll spend about 6 or 7 weeks in Antarctica with several different itineraries there. There's a whole set of different, it's kind of like a world cruise in that it's got different segments, but people wouldn't really necessarily want to take the entire cruise because these are kind of repeat itineraries here in Antarctica. And then from there, it heads back to Europe and then in the Med and goes up into the western side of Europe and the United Kingdom, up past Norway into Longyearbyen, and then back down to Iceland and back down to North America. Now, one of the important features with where we're going, there's some areas there that can be very rough seas. So actually what Scenic did is took some of their engineers and put them on the Octopus. And you may or may not know, the Octopus is one of the largest private yachts in the world, owned by Paul Allen, the Microsoft co-founder. And he doesn't necessarily like a lot of heavy motion, so he had personally paid to have larger stability stabilizers put on board, and we went on board and checked that out. So this is a video that's online. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it tells you more about that. So you can see here the stabilizer size and square inches. Ours is 17. The only one larger is the Disney ship, which is like 8 times larger than our ship. So pretty demonstrative of how much effort we're going to and expense we're going to make sure that your customer has a little bit smoother sail in some of these rough areas. And then our propulsion system as well. I mentioned these motors. So those are electric motors. They're state of the art. They don't have the drivetrain, so it makes quieter experience for everybody. And then also they are able to crush through the ice, and it's two engine rooms for safety reasons, so it can run fully. If one of the engine rooms goes down for whatever reason, the other engine can certainly run the ship safely. So that's the Scenic Eclipse. It's on sale today, and I encourage you to spend some time online watching those videos a little bit more. This is a spectacular product. It is going to be something that you want to offer to your most discerning clients, the people that really are looking for something new. They've done everything. These would be very unique itineraries. The brochure on the right there, that's our preview brochure. You can reserve your client on this particular itinerary or itineraries. I was told that our first sale actually was from a repeat client that's been on most of our itineraries and likes to stay in the best cabins, booked the big suite, the 2,500 square foot 2-bedroom owner suite, and he booked 6 segments for $354,000. So I think I'll go way out there and say that all of you would like to make that sale. But there's probably more of those type of sales out there, people that have the time and the money and really want to enjoy seeing parts of the world, but see it in style. So I do encourage you to go online, learn more, get our brochure. You can get those online as well, and start to tell your clients about this. So the other brochures I have showing here are the river cruise ships. We'll cover that briefly since we have the time. And most of you, I hope, have heard my previous presentations specifically on the Scenic River Cruise. But this is the 2017 pre-release brochure, the black one. That is out now. The pricing is kept the same as 16, so we haven't changed the pricing yet. They are working on that as we speak. It will be changed based on the market situations, on the value of the euro versus the dollar, things like that. That will all come out next month in May. So now's the time to get your client the best value in one of our 2017 sailings, and we are offering free airfare at this time, and that can change at any time. It's scheduled to change. Go away on April 30th. It may stay till the brochure actually comes out. We're not sure. But the sooner you can get people locked in, the better. $500 per person deposit. By the way, on the Scenic Eclipse, the deposit's $1,000 per person. Those are non-refundable deposits. And then there are additional deposits if you take the free air. At the time we are able to book the air, 11 months out basically, we will require an additional deposit of $1,500 per person. And then the final, in our case, is not due to 90 days prior to departure. The brochure in the middle, that's our Southeast Asia product. It is a brand new ship that we have going to have 3 ships down in Southeast Asia, 2 in the Mekong, 1 in the Irrawaddy. All 1-bedroom suites, beautiful ships, yacht design, not the traditional boxy design you see in Southeast Asia primarily. So it's a new, innovative design, all-inclusive, and for your most discriminating clients. So when we talk about all-inclusive, Scenic has been given the designation as the most all-inclusive. This is just a list of what we include. Transfers, all meal. We have 6 dining choices on most of our ships, the smaller ones, maybe a few less, but we believe in multiple dining choices, all kinds of liquid refreshments, whether it be soft drinks, water, coffee, tea, wine, beer, spirits. That's all included anytime they want it. They even have a butler assigned to every cabin. This is true of all of our ships, including the Eclipse. Mini bar is included as well, so they can have that stocked with whatever they like. Balconies, wherever we can put them on the second and third deck. All the second and third decks have balconies, most of them with the sun lounge. The only one that doesn't have the sun lounge is the one in Russia. And the sun lounge is a special feature we developed, which is instead of having a railing on the outer deck part of the balcony, we have a glass panel, and in fact it's 2 glass panels, so that if it starts to get a little chilly or wet or whatever outside, you can stay on your balcony and simply push a button, and it will enclose the balcony and keep the inclement weather out, so you can still enjoy that beautiful ambiance of sitting on the balcony watching the world go by, so to speak. Then shore excursions, since we started 30 years ago as a tour company, we're really focused on providing the best opportunities for your clients to enjoy the different destinations we take them to. So we have multiple choices. Everything is included in the price. So each day they'll have 3 to 6 different choices of what to do. So that's the hardest thing about our trips for clients, is the fact that they have to make a decision on what they're going to do each day. Or they could do nothing, whatever they want. It's up to them, but they have choices. That's the main thing. We also have a Scenic and Rich event, typically one per week. Some of our 10, 11-day sailings may even have 2. These are special once-in-a-lifetime events. And they're very memorable. I've been on a number of them, none of which I'll ever forget. Then we have Scenic Sundowners. This is an afternoon event. This is like a cocktail party or wine reception in a pretty cool place. There would be a chateau in Bordeaux outside of Saint-Emilion where we have a nice wine tasting, or it could be a cocktail party up in a castle on the Danube, things like that. And then other things your customers can do while they're on shore to explore. A lot of people want to go out and explore on their own. They're a little afraid they're going to get lost. They're going to miss things they should see that they didn't know about. So we have a GPS system. The GPS system, multifaceted, called TaylorMade. They're units that are about the size of the larger smartphones now. There's 2 of them in every room. They can take those and go and explore on their own. There are self-guided tours already in there, but if they want to just walk or bike on their own, they can do that. And the system will track where they are and how to get back to the ship. And also it will ping them if they're coming in the vicinity of one of our 1,500 or so points of interest, a castle, a church, a museum, a statue, etc. And then we have e-bikes. Instead of just regular bikes, we have the electronic assist bikes. This is so that more people can enjoy the great opportunities of taking a bike out on your own or doing a guided bike trip and really getting to see more of the countryside, more where the people live and what they do, and just kind of go experience the beauty and history of the area on their own. Without getting lost, they take the GPS unit, they'll find their way back. Of course, we include all tips, gratuities. We prepay those at the very highest levels, and so we have a tendency to get the best guides, etc. And this year we added laundry concierge service. So here's a chart that you should take a note of if you haven't already. RiverCruiseAdvisor.com, independent third party. These guys have been on just about every river cruise ship out there and done their own comparisons. We did not have anything to do with that, except we let them sail with us. So you can see there where Scenic has set the bar at having check marks all the way across. You can see right above us, there's Emerald with 6 check marks, yet they're priced about the same as some of the others, Viking, Avalon, Ama, and some of the others who have fewer bars, like 3, and Viking has 2. So this is a very good chart to have handy for you. You can see the closest thing to Scenic is Tauck and Uniworld. But what it does, what I typically would generally say, is that the fewer check marks, the bigger the bill is when you check out. With Scenic itself, about 90% of our customers don't owe us when they check out. We don't even take the credit card when they check in. So it's a pleasant trip with everything that I've mentioned included, without having to worry about getting nickel and dimed and what your bill is going to be when you check out. You just focus on having a good time. Current specials running right now. For 16, we have some fly free, some category upgrades, things like that. These are all explained if you go online and sign up and become one of our agents with access to our Expressbook online informational and booking engine. Then you can very quickly get in to each sailing, see the open inventory, and also see what the current special is for that particular sailing. They quite often depend on the cabin category and the sailing date to what is included and what's not. But great opportunities, as I mentioned earlier, for 17. The pricing is at 16 prices until May. And then there are some fly-free offers that are outstanding, or perhaps some more popular itineraries, $495 a round-trip air. Let's talk about Emerald for a second. It's only 2 years old. We're going right now into our 3rd season. The first season, we've got the editors picked out a cruise critic for the best new river ship. And last year we got the best value in river cruising. So it's all really about value and some innovative designs. We have 4 ships this year that are sailing. We also have a charter in France on the Rhone and a charter in on the Mekong. And then we're building 3 more ships, one being one of the maximum length 443 feet for the Rhine-Main-Danube, similar to our other 4, and also a smaller ship for the Rhone and a smaller ship for the Douro. So, by the way, the Douro, you may know, all the other cruise lines charter ships from a outfit in Porto, who owns the ships and owns the docks and pretty much dictates the schedule. So you'll see that those schedules itineraries are identical. But Mr. Moroni wanted to do his own type of ship with his own features that he's famous for, and a few more stops along the way. So you'll find that both the Scenic and Emerald, that they are our ships. They're designed to our standards, and we've even built a couple docks so that people can see a little bit more. So, it's important to know the details in all these to be able to tell your clients what the differences are. So here's the 4 ships we have now, and then the 2 more, plus there's 1 more yet to be named. It's supposed to be coming out in 17. We're supposed to come out in 16, but it burnt while being built at the docks. So we'll pull that off. One of the unique features in our design is in the back of the ship, we have this pool area. This pool is very unique. It's an absolutely gorgeous room. It's like a meditation room in a spa. It's so tranquil, and everything opens up during the daytime, but at night they close it up, and the bottom of that pool that looks like decking, in fact, is. And if you're curious about that, if you go to emeraldwaterways.com, there's actually a video on the pool, and you'll see how, in fact, they push a button and the bottom of the pool comes to the top. So we have one single deck. The water goes down underneath. They close everything up, and it becomes a cinema room, a party room, and a pub night, different things. There's a bar over in the corner with coffee service as well as bar service. So it's quite unique features. The Emerald value, just to let you know, when you compare this to some of the other 4-star deluxe river cruise companies, it's really important to know transfers are included whether you buy air through us or not. We really don't care about that. We want the client to arrive in Europe safely, and we want to know the flight number. We'll pick them up and take them to the ship. Complimentary wines, beers, soft drinks. There's a variety of those that are offered. Of course, tea and coffee, bottled water. We have a shore excursion each day, and then we also add a special shore excursion that in most cases with other lines would be an additional fee. We throw it into the equation there, all included. Of course, our local guides, Wi-Fi, port charges, bicycles, English speaking, everything's in English speaking on all of our ships, and then we take care of the tips and gratuities. You can add all that up depending on the cruise and everything, and it's $500 or $600 a week savings. So when you start comparing price and price, apples and apples, it's important to know what's included and what's not to get your client the very best value. And these are all brand new ships. The current special is with Emerald. We have for $500 savings, $1,000 savings. It just depends on the sailing date. You just have to look at that in a little more detail or call our red staff. On the longer trips, they're saving $2,100 on board credits, things like that. So there's all kinds of offers. These are all explained on the website. This is, in fact, the website here. You can see offers is just the second tab there. The Agent Portal tab, by the way, would be up on the upper left above this. So you can get into the Agent Portal area. In the Agent Portal area on both scenicusa.com and emeraldwaterways.com, you'll find Express Books, which is our booking/quote engine. This is one of the best programs I've seen out there, having been in the business a long time. It's so easy to use, but it's more than that. It's just within a minute or two, you're in looking at live availability, which sailings have which cabins still open. You'll see that very clearly on a deck plan with cabins having numbers in them are the ones that are still open, so you can start to talk to your client about which cabins they could book. If they're not ready to book, you can create a quote right there on the spot and send them the quote. And then if they call back and say, hey, we'd like to book that, then you simply convert that quote to a booking. So it's very simple, and obviously you can book it online very easily. It's a nice place to manage all your bookings, etc. So I encourage you to do that. You register right online, register the agency, and individual agents can register underneath that agency. So you have your own little area. Our group program, which a group is 5 cabins. So the 9th passenger is your TC, a Turk Connector credit, where you make your big money, or you get that as an incentive to the group. So that's very nice to do. Groups are really, river cruises are made for groups. They're just a great way for a group of friends or family or whatever to get together and experience these wonderful places we go to. But to do it without having to worry about what are we going to do today, where we're going to eat, and all that stuff. Everything's taken care of for them. So it makes it they just focus on having a good time. Also, the list of your BDMs, I'll show you that in a minute, but it's also online here. You can order brochures online. And our specialist programs. We have a Scenic Specialist Program and an Emerald Specialist Program. I encourage you to take those. I encourage you to especially take them before you make your first booking, because there's a booking incentive, and you'll make some extra money once you pass that course and then made the first booking. So this is a list of all of our contacts. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sandy to provide me with the questions, and you can jot down who your BDM is and contact them for more information.
Okay, great. Thank you, Randy. That eclipse looks absolutely fantastic, very unique, and I think we can all think of clients that we already have who would be a perfect match for the eclipse. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. These all have to do with the eclipse. If we have time, there are a couple of riverboat questions that came in late, and we'll see if we can get to those. First of all, can you repeat if you've told us what the anticipated launch date for the eclipse is?
Yeah, the first launch is scheduled to depart out of Istanbul on August 31st, 2018. That's 1818.
Okay, and
So
you were talking about
almost 2.5 years. Almost 2.5 years.
But it is bookable now, and people are booking already.
Yes,
yeah, okay.
It is bookable now.
You were talking about a group policy for the riverboats. Is there also a group policy for the eclipse? And will that boat have any meeting space or rooms that can be used as meeting space?
The group policy right now is about the same. We're still finalizing some of those items, and you can call the group department and find out, or talk to one of your BDMs, and we'll find out for you if you have a specific group you want to book. And it's my understanding, yes, there will be group space for meetings, etc. That one auditorium presentation room would be certainly one opportunity. It would have full AV equipment. So.
Okay, excellent. You mentioned that the deposit on the Eclipse is $1,000 non-refundable. What's the policy for changing a date from one sailing to a different one on the Eclipse?
Well, it's a case-by-case basis. I mean, we obviously want people to get on board and experience the ship, so we're not going to try to discourage that. We just can't openly say we're going to do it all the time. So if there's a reasonable reason and there is space on the other sailing, then there's certainly something we'll look at.
Okay, great. Is there an additional cost for either the submersible or the helicopter opportunities?
Yes, those are additional. There's, besides, so with our river ships, the only additional cost is massage and a haircut, and then a few gift shop items, and there's an extended wine list, which typically is only used if you have a special occasion or somebody really wants to impress their friends and buy a more expensive bottle of wine. All the wine on board is great. But on the Eclipse, you're going to have the submersible will be a charge. It will be a fair charge, but there will be a charge for it. The helicopters will have a charge as well. And I understand there will be some special dive programs that may have a charge on them as
Okay. And do you have any idea what the average per diem price is expected to be on the Eclipse?
Sorry, I don't. I haven't really looked at that in detail. Again, it's going to be very price competitive. I know when they did the pricing, they looked a lot at the competition, which is your expedition, other expedition type ships, be it the Silver Sea expedition class or Lindblad, some of those guys. It's going to be in the same area, and probably include more though.
And one of our agents wants to know if the Eclipse will be doing any itineraries that include Easter Island.
Not at this time.
Okay. And we know the issues of handicap accessibility on river boats. What about on the Eclipse? Are there similar issues for handicap accessibility, power scooters, wheelchairs, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I haven't seen the final details on that, but my assumption is that we will certainly make it as comfortable as we do on the river ships, or more so. We've got a little bit more space to work with. Certainly, there's elevators. Certainly, there. I have not heard yet if there's one of the cabins is officially an accessible cabin. We do have that on the river ship, so I don't know why we wouldn't have it on the Eclipse, but I'll check on that and find out.
Okay, great. Speaking about river ships, one of our agents would like to know if you can comment on what has happened in the past with issues with high or low water on the rivers. Are there other modes of transportation that you employ? Are there cancellations? What's been the experience for Emerald?
Well, we have yet to cancel any itinerary. It typically this last year was one of the worst because of the lack of snow in the Alps last winter. So particularly from August even well into October, everybody had issues. It's not a particular line because God's kind of in charge of that part of the deal, and so you just make the best of it. What we do typically, and typically the low water issues are on the Danube and in the area of Passau and Regensburg. And what we typically will have is, like if we have on the 2-week trip, which is from Amsterdam to Budapest, we have a ship coming one way and a ship coming the other way. So when they get to the blockage, we just tell everybody pack the bags. We'll take the bags for them. We'll send them out on a tour of some type. And when they come back, they'll come back to the same room, but on the other ship. The only thing that doesn't transfer, that the cruise director transfers. However, the butlers, etc., do not transfer, which can upset some people. They like the butler a lot. But and then there were some times just on the 1-week cruises on the Danube this year where we couldn't, like the ship could not get to Nuremberg where we normally would pick up people. We got it as far and close as we could, and then we just bust them down. It's not a big deal. It's an hour to 2 hours, usually max, but we try to make as much fun out of that as possible so that they'll see more and maybe get a few other perks where they might not have seen some of the stuff they got to see while they're in the bus. So we make do as best we can. We have our own buses along that way, so we have some special flexibility that we can have, making sure the buses are right there ready to help us.
That's fantastic way of handling things that are not within your control. So it does sound like you do a great job with that. We have one question left, and I want to remind our agents that if you think of a question that you'd like to ask after this webinar is over, you can jot down the name of your contact at Scenic and Emerald and send questions to that email address. The last question is, I'm not sure which brand this is for, but maybe you can answer for all of them, particularly for Scenic Cruises that has 6 different places to dine. Are there reservations required for dining in any of the venues aboard any of these riverboats or the Eclipse?
Well, yes. So let me just talk about the river ship portion. Emerald, no. Because they just have the main dining room, and then they have the terrace, which is just kind of a walk-up area that you can eat for breakfast or lunch. But on the scenic river ships, riverboats, they are with 6 dining choices typically. You got the main dining room, absolutely no reservation required. Very flexible when they show up between the, if dinner's at 7, as long as they show up by 8:30, there's still food left, and there's always plenty of room there. But we have the specialty dining area, which portobellos, in French we call it l'amour, but portobellos, Italian, that's up on the in front of the front lounge in the bow of the ship, that lovely area where people sit during the day. We transform that into seating for about 34 people per night. So typically you tell your butler, or they have a sign up at the front desk which night you prefer to go there, because we can't have everybody show up, so we can't accommodate them. And then table of reeve, which is like a captain's table on an ocean ship, but we don't invite the captain, it's just for our clients, is only typically 10 people per night. And so we have to reserve that just for the clients that are on the top deck, we call the diamond deck. And again, they talk to their butler typically on which night they prefer to go to that, or contact the front desk. And then the other dining choices are available to everybody, the River Cafe. And I expect it will be very similar on the Eclipse. We have not gotten into that specific detail yet. But if we have the Eclipse, we'll take 228 passengers. Except in Antarctica, we'll cut that to 200, which is the maximum you can take ashore in Antarctica. And we bring on some more experts in that area on board, and they use those rooms. So, but if I don't know, the dining capacity is 228 in all of our restaurants. I haven't seen that detail yet. So if it's not that many, then obviously we're going to have to take reservations. But again, work with the butler. The butler is the person, the go-to. He's really a concierge on board.
And remind us, will there be more than one major dining venue on the Eclipse?
Yeah, there's 6, and these are major venues. They're not. We have more room, obviously, to deal with. So we have a Pan Asian restaurant. We have Italian steak restaurant. There's different types of restaurants. So they're going to. I imagine what will happen is that each one of those is going to take, somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 100 people. So you will have to make reservations for them. But there are multiple dining choices.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. You can eat someplace different every day for a week and then start repeating yourselves.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Like that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. A lot of flexibility. Well, I want to thank you so much, Randy. This has been a fabulous webinar. We learned a lot about, particularly about the Scenic Eclipse, which sounds like a very exciting sales opportunity for all of us. Our host today has been Scenic Cruises, and our speaker is Randy Goodrich, trainer for both Scenic Cruises and Emerald Waterways and BDM for agents in several states. Randy, as always, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of our agents for taking the time to be here. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.